Now let's do a landscape demonstration. First you'll need some paper, and if all you have is copy paper, you can paint on this. Just be very light with the way you put on your paint. If you have a thicker paper, that's even better because it's going to hold the paint better. Or you could simply draw on copy paper. What's going to happen when you put paint on copy paper, it's going to wrinkle up a little bit. So you want to be very light with how you put on your paint. You'll recall that we talked about a horizon line when we do a landscape. First of all, I've turned my paper horizontally, and then I am drawing my horizontal line, which I've already done here. I've also already laid in a little bit of green color for my land far away. Then here is a little river or a little lake that's formed right here. And then here's the other side. Now I need to paint my sky. So I like, if I'm using my watercolors, I can use this area to paint, to add the paint to, so that I can mix, add water. I also like to paint on a plastic mat. That's always nice to have. And find a place where that you can be creative. Now, I want to do a blue sky. So this is called a watercolor wash. When I just add water first, then I'm going to place the paint in. And I like for all of this to be dry, which is why I painted it earlier. I'm going to lay in that color. I'm going to lay in that water, and then I'm going to come and get my blue. So I've put some blue here and I've added some water because I can always make it darker. If I want a little white cloud, I can just wiggle my paintbrush around and make a little cloud there. So again, it's much better to be light first. We can always add more dark paint as we go. And then we're going to bring that blue. Some people like to have all the blue near the top. I like to bring blue all the way down to that horizon line. And then wiggle around anything in the horizon line. All right, so I'll need to let this dry before I go on to anything else. So I already have one here that should be dry. It's a little wet right there. But now, once I lay in all my colors, now I can add some details and let it fully dry. So I can use my pencil. I can lightly draw in where I want things. If I want to put a tree here, I lightly sketch in my tree. Come in here, let it branch out and back in, and branch out and back in, and here it's coming over. So you decide how your tree is going to look. And then I could paint this in. I could use marker. I could use oil pastel. The good thing about crayon and oil pastel is they are good to use on a painting. So there, I'm going to just draw in some of my branches. Then I'm going to color in. If it is not acting the way you want it to, you can get a little piece of paper towel and smudge that. If you want to do it that way, or you could even paint on top of that if you want. I just wanted to get my tree in here so we can talk about what else we can do with this tree. Now, I can take my paintbrush and add leaves to my tree. I want to get the paint a little thicker in here, blend it with a little bit of the brown, and then I can just dab on my leaves. I can do that with my paintbrush, or I could use other things if I want to. I can also use this sponge here, where I use just the tip of my sponge, dab it into the paint palette, and sponge in my leaves. There's different tools you can use around your house. Just ask permission first and figure out how you want it to look. And again, if you would like, clean your brush. Go get some of this brown. Paint inside if you want. You can see it doesn't like to stick to that oil pastel, but it will kind of go in those little holes that I created when I drew with it. So that's one thing. And if I want to create a little shadow, come get a little dark paint and add in a little dark shadow here. So that is how you can start making a landscape. And then as it dries, you can always come back and add some more. Maybe I want, that's too much brown on there. Maybe I'll make that a little extra little branch. So let it dry, and then you can come draw some more houses. Maybe you want to put in some little bushes. Again, you can use something like a sponge to sponge in some bushes far away, or use a brush to put in some little grass. Here, I just flick it up, get some green, flick up, 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 and make little tufts of grass. Or you could come back in here with some color and make some little flowers. It's kind of up to you. So, horizon line, here's my land, here's some water, here's some more land where my tree is growing, and there's my blue sky and my clouds. Try that. See what you can do.